to start off, I think Doctori was one of the first businesses or ideas, I would say, that came to mind and that I have worked on. I've worked on since I was studying basically in university. Back then, it was just an idea on paper. Of course, we didn't have any knowledge, no IT background, no clear path on where to start. So we've made a lot of mistakes on the way. So Doctori basically came up when myself and Ahmed, Ahmed Al-Awadi, my partner, were studying in the UK. And the NHS system there, the National Health Services system, basically their healthcare structure was very complicated. You need to register. We found out that there's a way to get online consultations, get your prescriptions all online. We thought of it as revolutionary. We came back to the GCC, saw that there were competitors, but it was still an untapped market. So we've worked on it. Like I said, it was an idea on paper. We've done a lot of mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes that we've done is that we've thought that having an idea and translating it into a mobile application was just a plug and play sort of thing, where you go to a company, you tell them, I have this idea, do it for me. But that's not the case. So we've done our branding, we've done all the fancy, easy stuff, and then when we came to the point of development, where it's the main core of the business, this is when we were struggling a lot. So it was a big struggle when it comes to finding or building the software, especially software built from scratch. So we've worked on it back then. In the midst of all that, I've graduated from university, came back, and had also started a chain of restaurants back in 2017. So done the food and beverage sector. Right now, just doing it very part-time, more focused on Doctori, because back then it was very hard to get. There weren't any rules and regulations for telemedicine. There wasn't anything called a telehealth license. So we've been working very closely with the NHRA to get that license, and it was a trial and error process. So our software went into multiple development hubs and multiple development challenges till we launched on April 5 of 2020. We've launched on the brink of basically COVID. We wanted to do a beta launch, but it wasn't so much of a beta launch because we've hit the spot of where the people actually wanted such services. So it was just an unexpected growth in numbers. And of course, with new products on board, you have a lot of problems, bugs, issues, operational issues, back-end issues. So we had to adapt very fast, and it was a big challenge for us. And I mean, it is a world of challenges, and you trying to meet up with these challenges. Alhamdulillah, right now, Doctori is expanding. It has more than 17,000 patients. We've completed more than 200,000 minutes of video consultations online. We have more than 250 both local and international doctors. We're connecting patients from all over the world with either Bahraini doctors or doctors from outside of Bahrain. And right now, we're more focused towards virtual healthcare. We have a big project upcoming, and we're more focused towards providing, in general, high quality healthcare through cutting edge technologies. I never saw a university degree as where someone should construct himself. So if someone studied law, doesn't necessarily mean he should work in a law firm. You need to work in where you want to work, where you want to be headed, where you're passionate about. So doesn't necessarily. I mean, if you're not in the end, and then that's the beauty of the world of, I would say, entrepreneurship, is that you being weak in one area is good, because you know that I need to either partner, employ someone that is strong in this area. I'm strong in, let's say, managing people. It can be as simple as that. Jack Ma, Alibaba, he's not an IT person, you know. He's just a person that got right mindsets on one table, and he knew how to manage them, delegate tasks to them, and he built something. So one should not constrict himself based on the degree. In the world of entrepreneurship, you can be an artist. You can open up an art gallery by just bringing artists, having a nice business model of bringing artists, letting them put in their passion. It's all about finding solutions to problems and knowing how to, finding that key to solve that problem. And that's in a nutshell. I've worked personally. I'm a chemical engineer. I wouldn't say I've studied chemical engineering for the fact that I'm passionate about it. It is just that sometimes, and that's very in our time, I would say, but that's evolving a little bit. In high school, you reach a point where you don't know what to study, so you don't have any advice. People tell you do this, do that, do this. So what I did is I've seen the market. I've seen that, okay, chemical engineers are, okay, highly paid. They're in high demand, whether it's in Bahrain or outside of Bahrain. That's why I decided to go for chemical engineering. And I was good at the mathematics, calculus, and all that. I was doing it. I don't love it, but that's why I studied chemical engineering. But I've worked in chemical engineering. I've worked in Bobco, actually, in a very, good position. I was a supply chain coordinator. I've done it for 9 months, but honestly, it wasn't my thing. And yeah, I've left it because I've already had businesses running, and I thought I could do it both, but in the end, there wasn't any focus, and I didn't like I didn't like the full-time job I had, although it was paying me very, very well. It gave me financial stability, but in the end, financial stability does not mean anything if you're not you're not looking forward to doing or pursuing your passion. So that's my general advice. You don't never constrict yourself to the degree you're studying. So things are much easier. I'm speaking back in 2017, 2018. For us, I would say specifically, when you speak about an activity that is new to the market, there wasn't any other telemedicine player in Bahrain. And we didn't want to do it in a uncontrolled, or I would say non-regulated fashion. So that's why we sat down with the NHRA first, and Doctora Mariam Al Jalahma, one of our biggest supporters in this. She actually put the time to sit down with us, to hear from us, to see what we've done in terms of research, because it was a new field, and we've sat down with the ex-CEO of the American Telemedicine Association that set up telemedicine in the US. We've sat down with software developers from big companies. We've connected with them through LinkedIn, through different social media platforms, just to get a hang of things, and to also implement something new in the Bahraini market. So setting up was a bit of a challenge for our activity, but right now a lot of these activities that are new are usually found, or there's always a workaround. We've taken time to set up because there wasn't something called a telemedicine license, and we were waiting for that. So we've set up our company through the Ministry of Commerce. It was fine, but the activity of officially providing telemedicine services was a little bit delayed due to the fact that it was a new service. And right now, Doctori is licensed as any other hospital or facility here in Bahrain, but we're licensed as a telemedicine sort of virtual hospital. Uh, I mean, it worked. It seemed that it worked in our way. Like I mentioned, it was a beta launch, but it was a disaster, honestly. Yeah, and I think that um, that is entrepreneurship is about making mistakes and learning from them. I mean, some people are naturally entrepreneurs or from their young age, but you do not become capable or you do not have that entrepreneur. You do not, I would say, build your entrepreneurship skills through studying. It's not academics. It's not reading a book. It's about making mistakes. Okay, and that's uh, a key role of or a key driver of you building your, I would say, entrepreneurship skills. It's not in the books. Nothing's in the books. So when it came to us, when we opened up, it's there's a you do a lot of planning before, but that's why they say don't plan too much, because once you put and try to accelerate you starting, putting in operating, because planning too much will I mean you cannot foresee what's going on in operation. So um, before that, I mean before starting, but um, when we launched, we did not have something called customer service. We did not know how to even our dashboards, our management dashboards were not sophisticated enough to actually see what's going on within the app itself, see what the patient, whether the doctor answered or not. We did not know that. We had to call patients or we had to call doctors manually. It was a process that we've had a plan for it, but it was it I mean a lot of things were I mean there was a lot of operational mistakes, a lot of bugs and fixes that we need to do, and patients were paying from day one. So that's one of the problems that we faced, and the I mean I would say our beta launch was just push the product to the market, because right now the market needs it, and whatever happens happens. So we've done it with the minimal damage, but we've adapted very fast. So it was nights and days of that were with no sleep. It was always you on the tip on your tiptoes. We are a team of three only: myself, Ahmed Lawadi, and our currently our employee, our sales and relationship manager, Nariman. So we were three doing customer service. I remember Ibn al-Nafis wanted us to sign up 50 doctors in 3 days. So it is signing up doctors, doing the admin work, doing the tutorials with each and every 50 doctors. So it is and we had different hospitals. So we've launched with, I think, more than 100 doctors. Um, and it was us doing all the tutorials, and you had to manage patients, you had to manage doctors, you had to manage a lot of aspects of the company. You had to manage finances, you had to manage marketing. So it was I would say it was a very, I mean, big learning curve for all of us. And I got to know the nitty gritties of the business, and that's how I like to do. And I like to start up businesses, is that I like to know each and every detail in each and every business. So that itself, starting with a small team, getting involved in multiple departments, is the way we know right now what we need, how we want to, I mean, how the product or the product strategy, the company overall strategy, the different departments of the company. That's how we've built it. I mean, nothing. There's not company that's built from day one. Not all companies, of course. There are companies that are built in an organized sort of fashion, but startups, I would say, that are low budgeted with I mean limited resources, would definitely I mean need to go through that phase of things being unorganized, and you doing minor and major tasks till things pick up and things go your way. you know that success is easy, but its continuity is difficult. So what is your advice? So you think about the continuity of success. So success is, I would disagree that success is easy. I think, I mean, success can be defined in multiple ways, but success um, is not easy. It is something that you need to work hard for, and there's a lot of perseverance behind it. So um, things are not built perfect from day one. You will lose, you will win. You would lose more than you win in the beginning, but you need to push and persevere. So continue even though your business is failing. So one of the lessons I mean, I had one of the, I mean, when I entered the food and beverage, it was I had we had a restaurant, um, and we've, as hard as much as I put in a lot of effort in first F&B sort of venture, the business was doing, some days it was doing zero BD. That's how bad it was. It was doing zero BD, but and it's very undermining. You know, you putting a lot of effort, a lot of hard work. Why is this not working my way? What am I doing wrong? But then again, this challenge makes you try to push yourself, your limits, and persevere. I always say this: passion and perseverance is the continuity of success. You need to have the passion, the drive for it, and you need to persevere, because things won't go your way from day one. But right now, alhamdulillah, we've picked up the business, and right now we have people coming in from Saudi Arabia all the way to having breakfast or brunch at our place. So and we're expanding our businesses to Saudi Arabia, to different GCC regions. So it is success is not easy, but then again, continuity of success is always about trying to, trying to evolve, not staying stagnant in one place, always seeing what the market is giving or throwing at you and trying to adapt. So it's adapting with the market. You see a lot of conventional businesses that when COVID struck, they went bankrupt. Why? Because they did not actually foresee, or they remained at a stagnant position. They thought they were in their comfort zone, and then once a pandemic hits, they know that their business model is not a sustainable business model. So to sustain success is basically to be in constant development. Markets are changing in a very quick way, especially in this time. So it's always developing, it's always evolving, it's always putting in that development in the business, and I mean, continuity of success, I would say, is depending on a lot of factors. But when you speak about the financial success of the business itself, it's always being in constant development, I would say. So I'll be frank. Telemedicine in Bahrain is, I would say, it's a bit of a weak market, because Bahrain is small. When you speak about telemedicine, you speak about big geographical locations. So you want to connect doctors that are 4, 5, 1 day away. I mean, when it comes to logistics, I'm in Riyadh, my doctor is in Dammam. I'm in America, my doctor's in Bahrain. That can make sense in a way, but telemedicine targeting the Bahraini market itself and Bahraini doctors and trying to have consultations, it's a fairly, I would say, weak market when it comes to virtual healthcare. You can target it in multiple ways. However, our Doctori's aim, and that should be every business's aim, is always, don't undermine yourself. You shouldn't think of you not being on a global scale. Okay, right now Doctori is gonna soon to launch in Iraq. Doctori is soon to launch in we already launched in Kuwait, KSA, and we're doing international regions in parallel. By 2023, we want to launch in Pakistan. So we're targeting more of an international sort of scope, because there are markets that need the service. There are markets that want the service, and we shouldn't keep distance with virtual healthcare or I mean these international markets as a barrier. You have a sophisticated product, you have a scalable product. There's no other there's no other way of actually there's no excuse of not being or giving your services in different regions. So our aim as Doctori is providing healthcare for everyone. What do you advise as a student going forward? What should we do if we think of starting business after graduation? Um, so starting a business after graduation, you shouldn't wait till after graduation to start a business. You should start a business from now. I mean, right now you have many ways of doing businesses budgeted. I mean, mashallah, people are doing, they've been doing, a lot of good money on Instagram only, home businesses. The beauty of business is that if you do it smartly, it's not every business would need a big capital. You can always work with what you have. If you have the passion, if you have the drive, you would know how to make it work. So you should consider it even before. If I had this, if I had the chance, I would have done it while I was studying, even in school. Honestly, I would say I came in at a late stage, but you should definitely do it before. Finding the right business is also something. That you had competitors. What distinguished you than others, and why you thought you are the right person for this business? So we had competitors, and we're having competitors. What distinguishes us, I would say, our competitors are also doing a very good job. However, they have a certain strategy, a certain focus in their strategies. I would say we're doing the overall same service, different target markets. However, when you speak about healthcare, it's a big market. Even if you see 10 competitors, even if these 10 competitors do the same service, everyone would have, everyone needs healthcare. And it's not just, with telehealth, it's more than just you coming in and when you're actually sick. It's also health. It's more of a health and wellness app. So we have a lot of psychologists, a lot of psychotherapy sessions that are ongoing within Doctori. So it's not necessarily that someone is sick that comes to Doctori. Someone can have, can be stressed and can use the app. So it is always. We're targeting a big segment here, and there's always a gap in the market. And I would say we have multiple unique selling points. We're trying to provide different price ranges, but not not that we're, I would say, way better than our competitors. No, we provide a very good service, and we have our patients, we have our regulars, and why you thought you are the right person for this business. You do not know till you try. So once you have the business idea, you start with it, and you try to evolve it. And competition is always healthy. You see what your competitors are doing and try to do better. And I think competition is always good for any other business, for any businesses. I think I'm not sure I'm still the right person for it, but inshallah we're doing the right job. Okay, so basically Doctori came out, it was before COVID. So a lot of people saw that, okay, Doctori makes sense only in COVID, but post-COVID it won't make sense. Maybe for Bahrainis it doesn't make sense, but when you speak about bigger markets, as mentioned, it definitely makes sense. You're speaking about markets such as Iraq, where you have a lot of patients scattered out in different cities, but the high doctor density is in Baghdad. So when you speak about patients driving all the way from their city to the doctor to get a consultation, it is very high in prices. And I'm giving you the convenience of getting in touch with the doctor that you want to see without even going through the logistical hassle. So it makes sense in different markets. We're working, I mean, it's all about also pivoting and trying to know, to have a clear strategy that makes sense. Telemedicine does not make sense in Bahrain. Businesses that want to capitalize on the Bahraini market in telemedicine, well, they can, but our target is more international, and that's the vision of Bahrain, and that's the vision of Temkeen, and that's why Temkeen. And we've sat down with even the Minister of Commerce, His Excellency Zaid al-Zayani. Their strategy is not to have Bahrainis only thinking within the Bahraini region. You need to think global. There's no barrier that you, as a Bahraini company, cannot reach them. And you have people that have reached them. And you have Skip Lino. Skip Lino is one of the companies that reached there. So the narrow sight of, wallah, what you can do in the Bahraini market is a small market. You cannot make, you might not be able to make that good money and scale up your business in the right fashion, because it's a market that's not small. That's very small, sorry. But everyone should think global. You should think of a global scalable solution, and you should have that vision. It's always the vision of where you want to be, and how you want to do it comes along the way. But it's always having that mindset. So financially speaking, okay. So first of all, I think what we've done with Doctori, is that we've to finance this project. First of all, we personally financed it through the support of Temkeen. And then when it came to a stage where we wanted to launch, we went on a roadshow to raise funds. So we've gotten a list of investors from our connections, and we started doing phone calls, and we are this and this and this. And our idea was fairly on paper. It's actually a funny story. We wanted to raise 4 million USD. Of course, how we've determined what we want to, how much we want to raise, and I mean basically the capital needed is through a feasibility study. We've done it with a consultancy firm, a small consultancy firm, and we've done financial projections. We've basically based on the product, where you want to develop it, so on and so forth. So we wanted to raise 4 million USD with a project on paper, and we've sat down with big investors in the UAE. We've went to the UAE, we've sat down with big investors, and some investors laughed at us. Not that they do not have the financial capabilities, but it's you raising funds on an idea that's on paper. So what we decided on doing is that for an app business, we wanted to have funds to start the business. So there are multiple accelerator programs. If you don't have the finances, there are accelerator programs that such as Flat 6 Labs, Tenmu, these programs that invest and give you a decent capital at an early stage, you can start your business, and they help you start your businesses. And I'm not sure about the programs back then, but I hope that they've evolved, and they have actually decent programs that you can actually utilize. However, yes, I think for an app business, financing through accelerator programs is one way to go. But then again, the app business is a different business than a conventional business. But when it comes to financing, an app business is a value and growth game. So you grow your business, you get value, and then you raise funds to scale up your business. And then it's some people sell it, some people start doing dividends, shares, so on and so forth. Some people go IPO, so it depends. But when you but that's the overall strategy of the app, or let's say the e-services sort of game, is basically growing your business, getting value, and then raising funds to scale up to different markets, and then eventually selling it for a big amount of money, or doing a merger or whatever it is. But that's the overall strategy of the app game. I think you see, marketing has always and is still yet a challenge for us to globalize and I mean, having that user base from all over the world and trying to target them from one sort of account, or one sort of I would say social media stream. And that's why we've gotten an expert in marketing. We have a very strong marketing team, because marketing is, for us, is a main driver of growth. We take marketing very seriously. One of the strategies, our marketing strategies, are mainly we intend on it's basically localizing the application and localizing the content and strategies towards each and every location. For example, we localize the app itself. So when I access, right now I'm in Saudi Arabia, so when I access Doctori, even though I'm a Bahraini registered user, I automatically see the currencies in Saudi riyals. Based on my IP address, I automatically see it's Saudi Arabia riyals. This is one of the strategies of localization. Another strategy we're trying to implement is within the doctors themselves. We're trying to put in doctors in different regions and sectors based on their location, based on the languages they speak. So sometimes we automatically shortlist the doctors that speak the same language as your phone language. So if your phone is in English, we shortlist, or we push up the doctors that speak English. But mainly, most of the doctors speak English. But when you go to more specific languages such as Urdu, or such as let's say French, so you have doctors that speak French, and you have people, if you have people that are French or have their phone in French, they would see that doctor popping up. Or they can also filter the list based on what the doctor speaks. So one strategy is localizing the app. Number two is localizing the marketing and PR campaigns in general. And that's something that we've done, localizing it through some of the content you push out, not necessarily post on social media. Right now, you can always push content without even posting it on your social media. Our social media is mainly targeted towards more of an international audience. Sometimes we target specific regions or whatever, but we try to keep it as general as possible. But then again, we try to localize things when it comes to social media influencers in different regions, when it comes to PR campaigns in different regions.